Welcome back to Mysteries of the Word. In the last episode, we explored the waters above the firmament and the great deep below. But today, we dive deeper, literally and spiritually, into the great divide, the gates of heaven and the portals of the deep. Scripture hints at boundaries in creation, limits God placed to contain chaos, and paths where His glory and judgment meet. What are these gates? What lies beyond the portals? And why does the Bible speak of them repeatedly, from Genesis to Revelation? The Bible often describes gates in heaven. Psalm 24:7-10 speaks of the gates lifting up to receive the King of Glory. Ezekiel 1 and Revelation 4-5 describe celestial portals guarded by angelic beings. These gates aren't just decorative. They control access to God's throne and the upper waters. The waters above the firmament flow near these gates, like a divine reservoir, sustaining creation and shining with pure light. Ancient texts like 1 Enoch describe angels guarding the boundaries of the heavens, a cosmic security system ensuring creation remains in order. Beneath the earth lies the great deep, described in Scripture as a prison of chaos and fallen spirits. Genesis 7:11 calls the flood a breaking of the fountains of the great deep. Luke 8:31 shows demons begging Jesus not to be sent into the deep, the same abyss that once flooded the world. In other words, the deep isn't random water, it's a cosmic boundary containing destruction and evil until God's final judgment. The Bible paints a picture of two realms, divided by God's invisible hand. Above, life, glory, and divine order. Below, chaos, judgment, and spiritual confinement. Job 26:10 says, "He has compassed the waters with bounds, until the day and night come to an end." God set limits, upper and lower, to maintain balance. The firmament separates the waters above from the waters below. The gates of heaven regulate divine glory. The portals of the deep restrain chaos. Everything has its place. Everything has its boundary. The great divide is not just a physical separation. It is spiritual, cosmic, and moral. It shows God's wisdom in creating order out of potential chaos. Many today assume space is endless. Modern science rarely considers these biblical boundaries, but Scripture describes a contained creation, a measured cosmos with heaven above, earth in the middle, and the deep below. Understanding this great divide helps us see the Bible's vision of creation as structured, purposeful, and guarded, not random. It also helps explain recurring biblical imagery of floods, angels, gates, and portals, all tied to God's boundaries. The gates of heaven welcome those aligned with God's will. The portals of the deep contain what must not be released until the appointed time. Creation is framed by divine limits, and humanity exists between these extremes, called to walk in the order God set and to trust His wisdom over chaos. If you're enjoying this exploration of biblical cosmology, subscribe and stay tuned for our next episode, The Flood and the Firmament, Rewriting the History of Creation.